The spreadsheet on my monitor blurred. I was neck deep in quarterly reports when my phone buzzed on the desk beside me. I swiped the file to the side and glanced at the screen. Chloe. My wife. I tapped the green icon. Hey, honey, she said, her voice a little too bright. Listen, something's come up at work, and I'm going to be super late. I'm just going to crash at Leo's place tonight. Don't wait up, okay? Get some rest. A familiar heat rose in my chest. Chloe, hold on. You're a married woman. You don't think it's a little weird to spend the night at another guy's apartment instead of coming home? She knew I was angry. I could hear the forced smile in her voice. Oh, Adam, don't be like that. It's Leo. We've known each other for, what, 15 years? We practically grew up in the same sandbox. If anything was going to happen between us, it would have happened a long time ago. There'd be no you, she added, as if that was supposed to be comforting. Her logic left me speechless, as it always did. Come on, honey, she cooed, shifting in her placating tone. Don't be mad. I promise I'll be home first thing in the morning. And I'll bring you those donuts you like from the place downtown. I opened my mouth to argue, to say something, anything, but the line went dead. The dial tone droned in my ear. I stared at the phone, the anger simmering. Leo. Just the thought of him set my teeth on edge. Chloe's relationship with her quote-unquote best friend was unervingly close. They shared everything, drinks, meals, and apparently on nights like tonight, a roof over their heads. I'd lost count of how many fights we'd had about it. I'd pleaded with her, reasoned with her, tried to make her understand that a married woman needs to maintain a certain boundary with other men. You can't just keep acting like a single college kid, doing whatever you want. But what was even stranger was that my in-laws were on his side. My own mother and father-in-law adored Leo. Every time I got upset about how close he and Chloe were, they'd tell me to calm down, that they were just like brother and sister. After one particularly bad fight, I'd had enough. I reconnected with Jenna, a girl from my department back in college. We became close, my own platonic little sis. I glared at my phone for another minute, then muttered to the empty office, Fine, you don't want to come home? I'll just have my own company over. I pulled out my contacts and called Jenna. Adam, she answered, her voice bubbling with energy. I was just thinking about you. What's up? Hey, Jenna, I said, forcing a smile into my voice. I'm gonna loose in tonight. Was wondering if you'd let me take you out to dinner? If you're free, that is. I'm free. Of course, I'm free. Where are we going? I can head over as soon as I'm off work. How about my place? The house is empty tonight. I'll cook. There was a slight pause. Is Chloe cool with that? I don't want her to get the wrong idea. Chloe's busy tonight. It's fine, really, I said quickly. Okay then. Should I pick something up on my way? Nope. I've got it covered. Don't you know what my specialty is? In that case, she said, her voice full of genuine excitement. I'll be there. Can't wait. After we hung up, I leaned back in my chair. You go out and play, Chloe, I whispered to myself. I'll just have a nice, quiet dinner at home. On my way home, with the last rays of the sunset painting the sky, I stopped at a bustling Mariano's. I carefully selected 2 pounds of beautifully marbled ribeye, planning on a perfect pan-sear. I picked out a plump, free-range chicken for roasting, and at the seafood counter, a gorgeous fillet of wild-caught salmon that would be perfect with a lemon dill sauce. I also grabbed a few bunches of fresh asparagus and some colorful bell peppers, their vibrant hues promising to liven up the meal. Back home, with my grocery bags weighing down the counter, the kitchen felt warm and welcoming. I put on some music and started prepping, the sound of running water and the fresh scent of vegetables filling the room. Just as I was getting into a rhythm, the doorbell rang. I wiped my wet hands on a towel and went to answer it. Jenna stood on the porch, a wide smile on her face. In her hand, she held a bottle of expensive-looking red wine. Hey, looks like I'm in for a treat tonight, she said, wiggling the bottle with a look of pure anticipation. I took the wine, a wave of warmth washing over me. I was just thinking something was missing. I laughed. You brought the perfect co-star. Looks like we're making a night of it. We both grinned, and I led her back to the kitchen to continue our preparation for the feast to come. An hour later, the kitchen was filled with an intoxicating blend of aromas. One by one, I brought the dishes to the dining table. The seared ribeye was a perfect medium rare, its juices glistening under the light. The roasted chicken was golden brown and fragrant with herbs, and the salmon, flaky and tender, was drizzled with a creamy dill sauce. Jenna was already seated, her eyes wide. She took a deep, theatrical breath. Oh my God, Adam, it smells incredible. Your cooking is seriously next level. Coming over for dinner is always the biggest treat. Come on, dig in while it's hot, I said, smiling as I set down the silverware. To a beautiful evening. We ate and talked for hours long into the night. Jenna, who'd had a bit too much wine, eventually drifted off to sleep right at the table. I watched her for a moment, then, worried she'd get cold, I gently scooped her up and carried her to the guest bedroom. I went back out and crashed on the sofa myself. When I woke, Jenna was sitting quietly in the armchair across the room, rubbing her eyes. Morning light streamed through the blinds, catching the blush on her cheeks. She looked a little tired but still had a determined glint in her eyes. She must have been trying not to wake me. I struggled to sit up, my head pounding. I noticed a thin blanket draped over me. Jenna's doing, no doubt. A warmth spread through my chest. Jenna, you're leaving already? Let me at least heat up some coffee for you. I started to get up. She shook her head, a soft smile on her lips. No, it's okay, Adam. I'll grab something on the way. You took care of me last night. You should get some more sleep. And hey, maybe go a little easier on the wine next time. It's not good for you. She stood, walked to the door, then turned back, her eyes full of gratitude and a touch of regret. And in that exact moment, the front door opened and Chloe walked in. She saw Jenna standing by the door, saw me on the couch, and her face went blank with disbelief. After Jenna mumbled a hasty goodbye and slipped out, Chloe stormed inside. Adam, she said, her voice dangerously quiet. What the hell was that? Why is there another woman leaving our house at 7 in the morning? I just looked at her, saying nothing as I walked past her into the living room. She followed, slamming the door behind her with a loud bang. I sank on a couch. That was Jenna, I said calmly. You know, the girl from my college department I told you about. Chloe marched right up to me, her hands on her hips. What is going on between you and Jenna? Why was she here? She's another woman, Adam. Have you ever heard of keeping your distance? Seeing her so angry, I felt a cold, calm resolve settle over me. I decided to use her own words against her. Jenna and I are just good friends, like brother and sister. We've known each other for years. If anything was going to happen between us, don't you think it would have happened by now? I looked her straight in the eye. You were out all night. I didn't say a word, and now you're going to lecture me. I didn't come home because I was afraid of waking you up, she shot back, her voice rising. I was being considerate of you. Considerate? I scoffed. If you really wanted to be considerate, you wouldn't have gone out in the first place. Seeing my anger, Chloe's tone softened slightly. Look, I told you, we didn't sleep in the same bed. I was in the guest room. He was in the master. You know, Leo and I grew up together. Our relationship is close, but it's completely platonic. You can rest assured, nothing will ever happen between me and Leo. I didn't believe a word of it. I'd seen them together too many times, the casual hugs that lingered too long, the playful wrestling on the couch, the time she'd jumped on his back for a piggyback ride. What Chloe never seemed to grasp was how much it tore me up inside to see her with Leo. I told her a million times how I felt, pleaded with her to create some distance, to respect my feelings. But she always brushed me off, annoyed, saying I was making a big deal out of nothing, that their 15-year friendship was bulletproof. After our fight, though, something seemed to click. Chloe knew I was genuinely upset this time. For a while, she stopped going out with Leo and stayed home with me. But her idea of spending time together involved her scrolling through her phone, telling me what elaborate meal she was craving so I could go buy the ingredients and cook for her. Every night, I was expected to produce a full spread. It was exhausting. When I complained, she'd retort, "Isn't this what you wanted? You didn't want me going out, so I'm staying in. Is it really so much to ask for you to cook me a nice meal?" Hearing that, I just swallow my frustration and head back to the kitchen. And she wouldn't even really eat it. As soon as I set the beautifully arranged plates on the table, she'd whip out her phone and spend 10 minutes taking pictures from every angle before posting them to her Instagram feed. The comments would roll in immediately. A friend would write, "Chloe, your husband is an amazing chef. #blessed. Then, inevitably, Leo would comment, "So that's what's been keeping you busy, Chloe. Looks like Adam's cooking has finally won you over, huh?" Winking face. Then came the others. Comments from his friends or mutual acquaintances saying I was whipped, that a man with no ambition cooks for his wife, that I was afraid of her. Reading them made my blood boil. Seeing my face darken, Chloe would say, "Adam, you're a grown man. Why are you letting a few comments get to you? I was just trying to show you off, to get people to praise you. If it bothers you that much, I just won't post anymore, okay?" Her words trailed off, and my mind drifted. I realized that even though she was physically present these last few days, we were communicating less and less. She was here, but her heart was miles away. "What are you thinking about?" Chloe said, snapping her fingers in front of my face. "Why are you spacing out?" Just as I came back to reality, her phone rang. I saw the name on the screen, Leo. She answered, and after a few quiet ahas, she said, "Okay, yeah, I'll be right there." She hung up, stood, and looked at me. I had to go out for a bit. Before I could even form an objection, she was already in the bedroom. I watched her as she quickly and methodically applied foundation, dabbing at her face with intense focus. She pulled on a pair of nude stockings that blended seamlessly with her skin, then slipped into a short, stylish skirt that was both youthful and chic. Grabbing her designer handbag, she adjusted her collar, a look of urgency and concern in her eyes. I knew that look. It was for Leo. The doorknob turned with a soft click, and my heart clenched. Can't you just not go? You just got home. Leo has a stomach ache, she said, her voice tight with worry. He says it's really bad. I have to get him to the hospital. Are you a doctor? I snapped, my anger flaring. What are you going to do? If his stomach hurts, he should call a doctor, not you. Can you cure him? Chloe shot me an impatient look. What is your problem? Can you stop being so childish right now? Don't you get it? Leo is in a lot of pain. How can I not go? I was about to say more, but she cut me off with a single dismissive phrase. You're being ridiculous. Then she was gone, slamming the door shut behind her, leaving me alone in the silent house. When she finally returned, it was the next morning. Her makeup was gone, her clothes were wrinkled, and the stockings she'd been wearing were nowhere in sight. She walked in and saw the dark look on my face. She immediately switched to her sweet, cajoling voice. Honey, don't be mad. I was just checking on Leo. He was sick. I ignored her. She came over and took my hand. Adam, please don't be angry. You know that expensive pair of leather shoes you wanted? Let's go. I'll buy them for you today. We could spend the whole day shopping together. Please? Just don't be mad anymore. This was her pattern. She'd push me to my breaking point, then try to smooth things over with a gift. And like a fool, I always let her get away with it. Reluctantly, I let her drag me out of the house. We spent the morning grabbing food downtown, and in the afternoon, we ended up at a high-end shoe store. Honey, these are nice, she said, picking out a pair. Go on, try them on. I took the shoes and sat down on the leather bench. As I was lacing them up, Chloe's phone rang. I glanced over. It was a video call from Leo. My mood, which had been reluctantly improving, plummeted. As I sat there, trying on shoes I didn't even want anymore, Chloe was completely absorbed in her call, laughing and chatting with Leo. She was showing him different shoes, asking for his opinion, as if he were the one she was shopping for, not me. Her eyes sparkled with an excitement that was entirely for him. I finally snapped. I took the shoes off, placed them forcefully back on the floor, and stood up. I handed the pair I'd tried on back to the surprised-looking sales associate. Without a word, I walked to the register, paid for the shoes I had picked, and walked out without waiting for the change. The cool air outside hit my face. I took a deep breath, trying to blow away the anger and disappointment. I looked back through the store window. Chloe was still on her video call, a happy, oblivious smile on her face. She hadn't even noticed I was gone. In that moment, my heart sank to a new low. A wave of neglect and loneliness washed over me, so strong it almost took my breath away. I was a block away before she finally caught up to me. Adam, wait up. Why did you just leave like that? I kept walking, not looking at her. What's wrong? She asked, grabbing my arm. Why are you angry again? Everything was fine a minute ago. I stopped. I'm not angry. And strangely, as the words left my mouth, I realized it was true. The anger that had been simmering was gone, replaced by a cold, resigned clarity. I was done. Done with the cycle. Done with the drama. I was used to it. After we parted ways, I didn't go straight home. I walked for a while, then pulled out my phone and started making calls. That night, I met up with a bunch of old friends I hadn't seen in ages and got good and drunk. The neon lights of the bar blurred into a hazy mess. My phone vibrated endlessly in my pocket, the screen lighting up with Chloe's name again and again. I ignored every call, letting the sound get swallowed by the thumping bass. The small, bitter satisfaction I felt was a hollow revenge for all the times my own calls had gone unanswered. I stumbled out of the bar into the cold, deep night. The alcohol had turned my legs to rubber. When I finally made it home and pushed the door open, I lost my balance and had to catch myself on the wall to keep from falling flat on my face. Chloe rushed over, her face a mixture of worry and anger, but I held up a hand to ward off her inevitable lecture. She reached out to help me, then hesitated, her hand hovering in the air. I deliberately sidestepped her and staggered toward the bedroom, each step a stubborn act of defiance. The click of the bedroom door shutting behind me felt like sealing a vault between us. The moment my head hit the pillow, I was out. My dreams were a chaotic mix of triumphant spite and crushing loneliness, with Chloe's face flickering in and out of focus. The morning light filtering through the blinds woke me to a splitting headache. As I pieced together the events of the previous night, a complicated mix of regret and resolve settled in my stomach. When I finally emerged from the bedroom, I was surprised to see that Chloe's attitude had completely changed. A full breakfast was laid out on the table. You're awake, she said softly. Come on, have some of this oatmeal. You drank so much last night. It'll be good for your stomach. Not only that, but when I got to work, she started texting me, asking if my headache was gone, if I was feeling better. I could feel her trying, and a small part of me felt a flicker of hope. If you had just treated me like this from the beginning, I texted back, we wouldn't have had so many problems. Her reply was instant. Let's have dinner tonight. That new Szechuan place you wanted to try. I felt a genuine smile spread across my face and agreed. After work, I went straight to the restaurant and got a table. I waited for half an hour, watching the door, until I saw her through the plate glass window. She was walking toward the entrance, arm in arm with Leo. My stomach dropped. Furious, I pulled out my phone and sent a quick text to Jenna, telling her to come join us. Chloe and Leo walked in, and she came over to the table with a bright, fake smile. Leo was home all alone, and I figured the more the merrier for dinner, right? Leo looked at me. Adam, you're not mad, are you? Tonight's on me. They sat down, and Chloe immediately leaned in close to Leo, the two of them poring over the menu together, their heads nearly touching. In that moment, I felt completely invisible. They quickly ordered a few dishes. Leo looked up at me. Adam, what do you want to eat? I ignored him, stood up, and waved toward the door. Jenna, over here. Jenna walked toward our table, a bright smile on her face. You said the more the merrier, right? I said to Chloe. So I invited my little sis. Jenna arrived at the table, her voice sweet and a little flirty. Adam, I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. I quickly pulled out the chair next to me, and she slid in, sitting so close our shoulders were touching. Across the table, Chloe's face had gone pale with rage. She was glaring daggers at me. Adam, Chloe said, her voice tight, what is she doing here? This is my good friend, Jenna, I said breezily. I don't think you two have ever had a proper meal together. It's a great time to get acquainted. Jenna casually brushed her bangs out of her eyes, leaning even closer to me. She looked directly at Chloe with a challenging glint in her eyes. You must be the wife. Adam's told me so much about you. Honestly, he's such a great guy, always looking out for me. I really think of him as a big brother. All my girlfriends are just crazy about him. At that, Chloe's face turned shade paler. Just then, the food started to arrive. Throughout the meal, Leo was constantly putting food on Chloe's plate. I, in turn, kept piling food onto Jenna's, and she would thank me in that same sugary sweet voice. Seeing how attentive I was to Jenna, Chloe's jealousy flared. She pouted at me. Honey, I want some of that fish. Can you get it for me? I put a small piece on her plate. Then I turned and gave a much larger, better piece to Jenna. Chloe forced a smile. See, she said to Jenna, my husband knows I love the Kung Pao chicken. He gave it to me without me even having to ask. Not to be outdone, Jenna piped up. Oh, and he knows these spicy green beans are my favorite, too. I was momentarily stunned by Jenna's quick thinking. The girl was a natural at this. Chloe's smile was strained. Jenna then turned her attention to Leo. True or not, it doesn't really matter. What I do know is that this man right here is very concerned about you, she said, gesturing to Leo. His eyes haven't left your face this entire meal. Leo looked completely flustered. You must be mistaken, he mumbled, looking down his plate. The rest of the meal passed in a tense, unspoken battle. Jenna left first. I grabbed my car keys, ready to leave, when Chloe unexpectedly said, Honey, wait for me. I'm coming with you. Leo looked surprised. Chloe, I thought we had plans for after this. Why aren't you riding with me? I have to get home, Chloe said flatly. I'm going with my husband. Once she was in the car, I started driving without a word. I knew what was coming. Finally, she broke the silence. Adam, what is the deal with you and Jenna? She's my friend, I said calmly. My little sis. Bullshit. You think I'm an idiot? I'm not blind. The way you two were acting is not just friends. The way she looks at you, the way you treat her. It's way beyond a brother-sister thing. This was exactly what I've been waiting for. Oh, really? No matter how close we are, is it any closer than you and Leo? You two have literally slept under the same roof. Have I ever said anything about that? My words shut her down completely. She just stared ahead, speechless. When we got home, she slammed the front door so hard it rattled the frame. I didn't flinch. I just watched her fuming. In the past, this was my cue to start apologizing, to coax her out of her anger. But not today. I sat down and reached for a cigarette, but she snatched it out of my hand. You tell me right now, what is going on with that Jenna woman? There is definitely something between you two. You wouldn't have brought her to dinner otherwise. Who was she trying to impress with that act? I looked at Chloe, my voice calm. I've already told you the truth. If you want to believe there's something more, I'm not going to argue. Whatever makes you happy. Her voice got louder. Don't give me that crap. Little sis, you think I don't know what you're up to? I'm a woman too. Don't treat me like I'm a fool. I'm not a fool. She threw the cigarette she'd snatched from me onto the floor in a fit of rage. Seeing the cigarette crushed under her heel, my own anger finally flared. You know everything, huh? Then how come when you're getting all cozy with Leo, you never seem to consider my feelings? You always have a perfectly polished excuse. Was it all just a lie to shut me up? How can you even compare Jenna to Leo? She retorted, her voice filled with indignation. Leo and I have a history. We've known each other for 15 years. How long have you known Jenna? So, because you're close with Leo, I can't be close with Jenna? I shot back. Again, she was left speechless, just glaring at me. After a long, tense silence, she tried again. I told you, Leo and I are just best friends. We have never crossed any lines. If we had, you wouldn't even be in the... I had a laugh at that. I threw her own logic back in her face. And I'm telling you, if I had anything going on with Jenna, you wouldn't be in the picture either. So stop trying to sell me on a story you don't even believe yourself. Frustrated and defeated, she grabbed her purse, stormed into the bedroom, and slammed the door. I knew the routine. She was waiting for me to knock, to beg her to open the door, to apologize and make it all better. But this time I was done. I didn't go to the door. Days went by. I slept in the guest room. She never came out. I assumed she'd gone back to her parents' house. One night, I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, when I saw a new post on Leo's Instagram. It was a picture from his birthday party. In the photo, he and Chloe were cheek to cheek, their faces smeared with cake, their smiles intimate and unguarded. The caption read, "Best birthday ever, thanks to Chloe. Here's to many more just like this." I quietly locked my phone. I thought back over my entire marriage to Chloe. It felt like I had spent every single day suspended in a state of anxiety and tension. I couldn't remember the last time I'd felt truly happy, truly at peace. She had never given me a moment of it. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the blinds. I took a deep breath and began to pack a bag, methodically folding my clothes. Each shirt, each pair of pants, held a memory of the home I was leaving. I took the framed photo of me and Chloe on the beach from my wallet and set it face up on the nightstand. Leaving the apartment felt both simple and monumental. I looked at the emptying rooms, a cocktail of sadness and relief swirling inside me. The nights after I left were the longest. My phone screen would light up occasionally with notifications, but never with Chloe's name. I knew she was still angry, too proud to face an empty house. A few days later, my phone suddenly rang, her name flashing on the screen. My heart jumped. I hesitated, then let it go to voicemail. A moment later, a text came through. "You need to come home right now. If you don't, you might as well not come back ever." The words were a mix of anger and desperation. I read the text and put my phone back in my pocket. "Go back," I muttered with a bitter laugh. "I can't go back." My phone rang again. I ignored it. Standing on the street, I realized that for years, my entire world had revolved around Chloe. I let my friendships wither. Now, with nowhere to go, I felt adrift. After a moment of hesitation, I walked to a Holiday Inn Express not far from my office and booked a room for the week. The next day, I went to work as usual. That evening, as I was walking out of the office building, I saw her. Chloe was standing by the street corner. She was wearing the lavender dress I had picked out for her a long time ago. The hem swayed gently in the breeze, a soft splash of color in the evening light. Her long hair was down, a few strands framing her face, making her look both gentle and beautiful. She wore a light, almost imperceptible smile, her eyes clear as she periodically checked her phone. Even in her quiet focus, she was magnetic. As the setting sun cast a golden glow on her, I noticed several passers-by casting appreciative glances her way. She was a truly stunning sight. I started to walk past, pretending I hadn't seen her, but she stepped directly into my path. "Adam," she said softly, "where are you going? Does it matter to you where I go?" I replied, my voice flat. I tried to step around her. She grabbed my arm, her grip surprisingly strong. "Don't go." I pulled my arm away, forcefully. "You have your best friend, Leo, don't you? What do you need me for? Someone like you shouldn't even be married." Her face crumpled, and tears welled up in her eyes. "Adam, I was wrong," she sobbed. "The moment you left, I knew I was wrong. All these years, I never really thought about it. I didn't think you were really hurting. I never realized how much damage I was doing. If you had realized it sooner, we wouldn't be here right now," I said, my voice harsh. "I promise I'll change," she pleaded. "This will never happen again." I just laughed, a humorless sound. "You promise?" "You made that promise at least a dozen times. And every single time, the moment Leo calls, you're out the door. I don't believe you anymore." Seeing the disbelief etched on my face, she fumbled for her phone. She dialed Leo's number and put it on speaker. His cheerful voice filled the air. "Chloe, ready for another night out? Just send me the location. I'll be right there." Chloe took a shaky breath. "Leo," she said, her voice firm, "don't call me again. We can't see each other anymore. I'm married. I love my husband. For years, my selfishness has hurt him, and I never saw it. From now on, he's the only one in my heart. Whoa, are you drunk or something? He asked, confused. Chloe hung up on him. Then, right there in front of me, she blocked his number and unfriended and unfollowed him on every social media platform. See, Adam, she said, her eyes pleading. I'm serious this time. I won't hurt you again. Please, let's not fight anymore. It makes both of us miserable. I just want you to be happy. Looking at her, at the genuine remorse in her tear-streaked face, I felt the wall around my heart begin to crack. The anger that had been a hard knot in my chest for months began to loosen. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. I didn't say anything, but she must have felt the shift. She stepped forward and hugged me tightly. For a long moment, I stood stiffly in her arms, my mind racing through years of broken promises and lonely nights. Was this one grand gesture enough to erase all of that? You're staying in a hotel, aren't you? She whispered against my chest. Come on, take me there. Her voice was small, vulnerable. It wasn't a demand, but a plea. And in that plea, I heard the desperation I had felt so many times myself. I let out a long, slow breath, the fight finally going out of me. A tired smile touched my lips. I wrapped my arm around her, and together, we started walking toward the hotel.